Hey friends, my name is Julie and welcome back to my farm. I am on my way to do some bottle feeding. We are in the midst of our lambing season here on the farm, and inevitably we end up with a few that need a little help nutritionally. So right now I've got 2 bottle baby lambs. I've also got 2 other possible candidates for supplemental feeding. So we're gonna go check those out. And I'm gonna talk a little about how I know that a lamb needs help and a couple of the other issues that we're facing here this season. Gladys. Grizz, good boy. Come here, Grizz. Hi. Hi, Gladys. We're having some freezing temperatures this week overnight, but all the sheep seem to do really well with the cold. So these are my 2 bottle babies, obviously. This guy is only about 3 days old, and I've got a story to tell you about him. And then this little girl is Gladys. She's actually about 2 weeks old now, and she was just flat out rejected by her mom. Her mom had 2 babies, and she's used to only having 1. So sometimes they just prefer one over the other. She decided that she wasn't gonna feed Gladys. So now I've been feeding her. I know. I know, baby, I gotta refill it. So bottle baby lambs always act hungry. If they see you, even though he just downed a bottle, he thinks that he wants more. So you really need to weigh them on a regular basis, and you don't want to feed them more than 20% of their body weight. So these guys are both getting about 4 ounces. Even though she's older, he actually weighs more than her. And I'm doing that 4 times a day. Now, both of these lambs are doing what you would hope a rejected lamb would do, and that is stealing milk. So they've learned to nurse on their moms from behind. That way it's a lot harder for mom to butt them or knock them off. And Gladys, especially here, has gotten really smart. She will wait until her mom is nursing her sister, and then mom is standing still, so she just slips in from behind and nurses on the other teat. So she is getting quite a bit from her mom. And this guy has kind of learned the same technique, although he's not quite as good at it. When you're feeding a lamb, it's good to support their chin with your hand while you support the bottle. And some of them will suck it right down. Gladys here likes to take little breaks. And just like a human baby, you want to be careful that they're not sucking a lot of air. So when she takes a break, I tip the bottle down so it doesn't leak down her nose or anything. She's getting full now. She's only got a few more sips to go. And of course, whatever she doesn't finish, he can clean up. Are you all done? I think I heard a burp. Yeah, good girl. It's good to scratch their butts while you're feeding them as well, because moms typically would be sniffing and rubbing their butts with their nose. And that's how they check that it's their lamb. They're able to tell by the smell of the poop of the lamb whether it's theirs, whether they've been drinking that used milk. So everybody's really smart. So they down those. That's great. A good way to tell if a lamb is full is you can feel right here with your thumb and one of your forefingers. And if it feels tight, like a full balloon, then they've got a full belly. Well, these guys got a full belly. Yeah. All right, run and play. You guys looking for more? Let's go find your mamas. Huh? There she goes. That's Gladys's sister standing in the feed pan. They stick together, and she knows who her mom is, even if her mom rejected her. So that's who she nurses off of. We've got a little mineral in that pan, so they're eating that up. So this big old boy, I've been calling him Grizz because he's this big old grizzly bear. He is big and woolly. So Grizz thinks that this is his mom. This is Althea. That is her actual baby. But Althea here was in labor at the same time as another ewe named Claire. And Claire delivered her baby first. And that was Grizz here. Claire usually has a big old boy, and she didn't disappoint this year. But while Claire was laying there recovering, Althea came over and started licking this lamb. And she allowed it to nurse, so it smelled like her. She thought it was hers, and He thought Althea was his mom. And although I tried to put him in the stall with Claire to see if she would take him back because she was looking for her lamb, he didn't smell like her anymore. So she rejected him. And then after a couple hours of trying that, I tried to put him back with Althea, and she also rejected him. He had two moms for a minute, and now he has none. Hi, Gladys. Hi, sweetie. But he does follow Althea around, and he's able to steal milk from behind. But she will headbutt him if she catches him. Even though you stole him, you totally stole him. And you have plenty of milk for two. But just to make sure he's getting plenty, I decided to start bottle feeding him. Oh, Gladys, there's your mom. Gladys. So Gladys's mom is Bonnie. Oh, go get her. Go get her. Bonnie normally has one lamb. This year she had two. She got a little confused. There goes Gladys. It's kind of sad. Gladys will call for her and she won't answer. Hi. But she can normally find her. I'll help you out here. She's right there. She's right there. Yeah. So she knows who her sister is. Yep, that's your mama. That's who you can steal milk from. Hi, Claire. Poor Claire here ended up with no baby to nurse. So we really don't need to do anything special for her. Just keep an eye on her udder that it doesn't get too tight. If it does, we can relieve some of the pressure by milking her. But it's really just best to let her dry up. One of the consequences of Gladys here drinking from behind is that she gets peed on a lot. So her head is usually really gross. So I can't really snuggle her, which is sad. But I give her lots of scratches on the butt. Her butt's usually pretty clean. She's such a pretty girl. You get peed on all the time. All the way down your back. Yeah, pee-pee. Yeah. I've got two sets of mamas and babies in this stall, which isn't ideal, but we ran out of stall space, and they're both small. So there's definitely plenty of room. These moms delivered around the same time. We've got Etta here is the brown one. And Emmeline is the white one. Hey, hey, hey. I need to go in there. Need to get these moms sorted out. Who's who? There we go. All right. Hey. One of the primary reasons that we put new moms and babies in a stall together is so that they can bond without getting all lost and mixed up in the flock. It also allows mom to rest and recover from delivery and for the baby to sleep without getting trampled on by anybody. And typically once that lamb nurses a few times on the mom, the bond between them becomes pretty tight. Mom will keep an eye on them out there. They learn each other's call back and forth, and they learn each other's smell. So they can find each other even in a crowded flock. But this is a brand new mom. She's young, and she has really shown zero interest in her lamb, other than she will allow it to nurse while I'm in here. I feel like I kind of have to enforce. I don't know if she's nursing this lamb when I'm not here, because when I'm here, I kind of have to not hold her in any way, but just stand here and force her to be nice. And she will kind of kick out her hip, and she'll allow this lamb to nurse for a good long time while I'm here. But I think when I'm not in the stall, she's kicking it off and headbutting it and not wanting to mom. So I think as soon as I let them out together, she's likely not going to take care of this lamb. Now, my hope is that the lamb gets strong enough and smart enough that it can continue to steal milk from her, whether she wants to headbutt it off or not. And I've seen some good indications of that. The lamb knows how to nurse from behind, like the first 2 bottle babies you saw. So I'm confident that she'll get some nutrition from mom, but I am not confident that this mom is gonna look out for her and take good care of her. So I think that she is a good candidate to be bottle fed as well. And then we've got Etta over here. And Etta actually had a lamb last year, and she did a pretty good job. And she has shown some interest in this little boy, but not enough that I am confident that she will look out for him. Again, while I'm standing here, she seems to let him nurse. I've actually seen her stand when I'm outside the stall, and she doesn't know that I'm watching. I've seen her stand for both of these babies to nurse. But again, not a lot of interest in the lamb. She didn't lick it. I had to clean him off for her. Stand. Stand. So I have a little more hope that she's going to take care of her baby. But this baby is really small and kind of frail. And that brings me to my next point about bottle babies. You really do not have long at all to decide whether you're going to start a lamb on a bottle. Now, if something tragic happens, you dies, when the lamb is older, you better believe that I am going to try my damnedest to get that baby on a bottle. But I find that the longer you wait, the harder it is. If you start within the first 2 or 3 days of life, you can convince them pretty quickly because they're just hungry. If you shove a nipple with warm milk in their mouth, they're probably going to drink it. And even if it's not the milk that they want, it's going to satisfy that hunger and they're going to come back for more. But once a lamb is out with its mom, drinking on her full time, following her around, if you try to pick it up and bottle feed it, it's going to fight like hell. I have had very little success trying to bottle feed an older lamb. They will fight you so much that they'll end up just aspirating the milk or spitting it everywhere. It's stressful for them to be caught every time that you need to feed them. So even though I would really like to not have a lot of bottle lambs, and obviously all of the lambs that I've shown you are going to get some nutrition from their mothers, I know from experience that it's just going to be better in the long run if I get them started on a bottle now. Now, if they start getting fat and they're nursing on their moms all the time, I can always wean them back down. But for right now, I've got 2 goats still in milk. So I've got a supply of good milk. I've also got a bunch frozen from last year's milking season. So I'm in a good position to help these guys. It is a lot more of a time commitment, and it means basically no milk for me and Daryl to drink or use in the kitchen, but the lives of these lambs are so much more important. So while they're in the stall, while they're doing well, they're healthy and vibrant, I'm gonna get them started on a bottle. And that's the other thing that would make it really hard, is if I wait till they actually get weak, till I actually see that they need it. If a lamb's temperature falls below 101, it becomes not safe to bottle feed it anymore. They don't have enough of a suckling response to swallow the milk without danger of aspirating it. They're also going to have slower gut function. So if you do ever find a lamb that is cold and weak, you want to tube feed it. And if I ever have the occasion, I will definitely make a video of how to do that. But you don't want to get in a hole with a baby like that. Once it gets cold and weak, your chances of bringing it back go way down. While it's a bigger time commitment, and while it's usually a bigger financial commitment, if you have to buy milk or milk replacer, if you want to save the life of that lamb, just get started right away.
Yeah, you're a smart lamb. You're going to be easy. You're going to be easy to teach. Yeah.
I've also noticed that when I have to spend a little more time in the stall, the lambs are definitely less fearful of me. Even if I'm not bottle feeding them yet, just if I'm hanging out, kind of helping them along, they get a chance to learn that I'm nice before mom tells them that they should stay away from me. Right, mama? He's going to associate me with getting a good drink, whether I'm bringing a bottle in here or not right now. So,
yeah, you're going to be easy to teach.
get that, mama.
She's just chilling. Yeah. Good girl. So every time I see her sniff and not headbutt, that's very encouraging. That's what you want to see. But yeah, then she does that. And I gotta tell her no. You be nice. That's your baby. I know, it's very confusing. It's very confusing. But yeah, this one's going to town and is just chewing her cud. That's the thing. The moms, even if they don't want to take the baby, I can tell that they like being nursed on. It's got to relieve some pressure. Got to feel good, release some hormones. I see you kicking your hips out so he can get it easier. It's all good signs, Mama. We'll see, ladies. So they're going to be in the stall for at least another day while I get these guys started on the bottle. Try to behave, ladies. I most commonly see used reject lambs when they're first-time moms or if they have health issues of their own. It's not uncommon to see a big increase in parasite load in moms right around the time they deliver. There's a drop in the ewe's immune system, so if they have a light parasite load, those worms can take advantage of the situation and proliferate in number in a short amount of time. And that can make her very ill. There's also some conditions related to her milk coming in, such as ketosis or milk fever, where her blood calcium gets too low, or her calcium phosphorus ratio gets way out of whack. Or she could just be dealing with some postpartum pain and doesn't want to deal with a baby at the time. So it's good to be sensitive to the ewe's needs right after birth and try to head off any of those health-related issues that could thwart the relationship between her and her baby. Hi, Mama. This is Darcy. Darcy's one of my favorite ewes. She's super friendly. This is her second lambing, and she had two this time, a boy and a girl. The white one is a male, and the little red one is a girl. She is taking good care of both of them, luckily, but we almost ran into an issue with her. I was actually lucky enough to catch her in labor. She had already had the first one, and I watched her deliver the second one, and while she did a great job, the birth took a little bit longer than I would like, and that's because he was breech, meaning he came out backwards, which is less than ideal. But she just powered through it like a champ. But when issues like that arise, where a birth takes a little bit longer, it can be really difficult for mom to focus on the first lamb that's born. So that little girl went a little longer than I like without being really licked or dried off. She would lick her a little bit here and there, but for the most part, she was focused on delivering that second lamb. And so I was really worried that this little girl had gotten too cold and weak to nurse. Darcy and I have a really good relationship, and I thought that she was going to let me help her, but she was getting really, really mad at me. If I would touch one of the lambs, she would headbutt me off of them. She was like knocking my hands off of the lambs, like, I don't need your help. And she was doing everything she could to encourage this little girl to nurse. And when I came back to check on them, she had the whole thing under control. This baby has been thriving ever since. A+ to Darcy. Yeah, mom of the year. Such a good girl. Darcy's the best. She's the best. Yeah. So that definitely could have ended up in another bottle baby or worse. At one point, I was really expecting to find that baby dead. So in that case, possible issue totally avoided, but still a situation that I had to monitor very closely because it could have gone sideways really quickly. Playful lamb is a healthy lamb. She's sleeping with her lamb right now. That's Desi. You guys saw her at the end of the last video. She was the last one that had given birth. And her lamb are doing great now, but it was a little touch and go a few days ago. I noticed that she was very slow to get up, that she looked really sluggish. She was hanging her head down. She wasn't eating a lot. And I wasn't seeing her chew her cud very much either. And then even though we've been having pretty warm days, I noticed that she had a slight shiver. That led me to believe that she was going into milk fever. I was able to give her some oral CMPK. I also gave her a nutritional drench called Power Punch. It has some added vitamins and minerals. Most importantly, it has vitamin D3, which helps with the absorption of calcium. I also gave her an injection of a fortified B complex because if they're not eating, they're not getting the B vitamins they need for proper brain function. She really made a miraculous turnaround the next day. She was acting like she felt 100% better. She was at the hay bale aggressively eating, and she's got a pep back in her step. So we're gonna keep a close eye on her. I may need to dose her again, but I really don't want to overdo it. So lovely, lovely horns. I'm just gonna pee right there. There she is, chewing her cud. But through it all, she's been a good mom. She's taking care of that baby above all else. So, good job, Desi. Feeling better, Mama? Yeah, you're a good girl. Now, milk fever is most commonly seen right before or right after birth. But Abigail here was actually showing some signs of it as well. And I gave her a good dose of the oral CMPK, and she perked right back up the next day as well. So between her and Desi both responding immediately to that treatment, I think that's definitely what we were seeing. I think they're just producing quite a bit of milk, and they've got fairly big babies that are drinking a lot. We are feeding alfalfa this time of year to try and combat that, and they have a good mineral mix that's available free choice as well. But sometimes they just need a little extra help. I also had this new mom. This is Edna. And as you can see, she's taking great care of her baby. But I watched her give birth to it and then walk away looking very confused. And I decided to give her a few minutes because she's a first timer. I waited about 10 minutes, and right before I was about to scoop that baby up and take care of it myself, she came around. She started calling for it. It started calling back to her, and she has been taking great care of it ever since. So it's a pretty little girl. I don't know if you guys can tell, but she is very small and small framed. Her legs are really tiny. Her head is really tiny. She kind of has a narrow muzzle and a scooped face. Also, her ears are a little bit droopy. All of that indicates to me that this baby was probably born a little bit premature. Yeah, that can definitely be a recipe for problems, but because this mom has done such a good job taking care of her, and I've been able to watch this baby grow and play and thrive, I have no concerns now that she's going to be just fine. But again, that's a situation where we really have to watch things closely. Now, baby lambs really grow up in a hurry. I've seen lambs as young as 4 days old eating hay and actually chewing cud. You can see Betty's little boy up there is eating a little hay. So they start supplementing their own nutrition pretty quickly. And as soon as they're big enough and feisty enough, they'll start getting into the brewer's grain and the alfalfa that we're putting out for the moms twice a day. So we actually give them a little bit in a creep feeder so that they get their own portion and they don't have to fight so hard but they get in there. So you definitely want your lambs to have access to good quality food and mineral at a very early age. The sooner they get that rumen bacteria going, the better. Well, I see a couple more ewes out here. Look like they might be in early labor. I will be back out here often, as is frequently the case this time of year, checking on all my girls.
Gladys! Gladys! Good girl! That's my girl! That's my girl! Hi, baby. Come here. I'll give you a snuggle. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're so pretty. Can't wait till you don't have pee on you. It's so hard not to snuggle her. Oh, but you smell so bad. Bottle babies aren't that bad. You do get nice snuggles. Yeah. Even if they're stinky. Well, that's all I had for you guys today. If you are raising sheep of your own, I hope that this video helped you think about some of the potential issues that you might encounter and how to get ahead of them before they turn into big problems. I'll be keeping you guys updated as our lambing season continues, and then in March we're gonna have all our baby goats as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.